Hi, Emily, Victoria, and Nicole. Dr. G here. I'm sitting in my office, and this office is at Radford, but you can see lots of Hokie stuff. I'm a big Hokie. Um, both my graduate degrees came from Virginia Tech, so that's why you see a lot of the Hokie stuff back here. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your chat, and also wanted to let you know that I did not go and look at the chat that was in the Dropbox. I looked at the chat, and you can still see the chat. I'm going to send those directions again so that you next time won't go through all that of copying and pasting and correcting the grammar and punctuation, misspell, all that kind of stuff, because that's not what this is about. This is about sharing your thoughts and getting to know each other and feeling comfortable interacting. So don't have to worry about that when we have chats in the future. First of all, I want to say I was pretty impressed with the connections that you made with the article and with our culture, and the Mamafu culture about which you were reading. And I want to start with just a little definition of some terms because I saw these terms used several times by different people. And please forgive me if I don't always say which person said what, because I'm looking at it over here on another screen and I'm scrolling down trying to find certain points. So this going back and forth, I might not always give credit exactly to who said what. But the terms collectivist, that the society that you read about was more of a collectivist society, with that emphasis on family and work groups, sharing responsibilities for everything within a community, for everyone within a community, and having common goals, and taking care of individual needs versus the individualistic culture, which is very much like our culture here in the United States. And I think because of money, that oftentimes our culture here in the United States is becoming more and more individualistic, that it is about taking care of oneself. And you guys pointed this out in several good examples throughout your chat. I did find it interesting that you made connections to some of the placements, evidently, or places that you have worked. And somebody had mentioned that they had worked in Floyd, and they compared that community in Floyd to being in some ways similar to the Memufu culture that you read about. So I thought that was interesting, because I think individuals' perceptions of Floyd is that it does tend to be a hippie community, or community where there are communes or that type of thing. So I found that very interesting. Something else that I noticed, sort of a thread through your chat, was this idea that reading things like this, that watching the videos that I provided for you were ways to, and somebody said, a good reset to your way of thinking. And I'm really hoping that throughout the semester you will have multiple resets in your way of thinking, and that you're going to have multiple lucid moments, because someone else in your discussion mentioned that you have lucid moments all the time. And I think there's a difference between how I would define a lucid moment, and perhaps what you're thinking of as a lucid moment. I think there are always times throughout our day, every day, where situations occur and we think to ourselves, oh, I need to remember that I need to be aware of the people around me and the language that I'm using. And then the thought is gone from your mind and you don't think of it again. When I'm thinking of this lucid moment, that those lucid moments are those aha moments, those thoughts, those ideas that stick with you through time, and that you think about and make plans or ways to change. So when I'm thinking a lucid moment, I'm thinking for this particular article that you read, one lucid moment that I had reading this article was this idea of it doesn't always have to be money that we give in order to give back to individuals within our community, whether they are individuals with disabilities or individuals perhaps of different cultures that have come here, perhaps immigrated into the United States, whether it's individuals with different religious beliefs. It doesn't always have to be money. Sometimes it's giving of our time. Sometimes it is supporting in other ways, perhaps taking someone to the grocery store or helping someone find a doctor or fixing a meal. It's doing some of those little things that don't involve money out of our pockets, that can be the difference of being from just an individual society and us living in our own little worlds and taking care of our own selves and our families and not worried about anybody else, versus helping to be more of a collectivist society and in some way helping another individual or another group. I thought another interesting discussion that you folks had was about the connections with individuals with disabilities, and you folks were very conscious of using person first language, which I appreciate very much, and you did a lot of conversation about the importance of supporting that group of individuals here within our culture and our country. I want to talk just a little bit about the homeless population that was a huge part of this particular article. And one reason that I mentioned it is because the homeless population is on such a rise here in the United States. In Roanoke City alone, I'm the cohort leader there in Roanoke City, and in Roanoke City alone, the number of homeless students, and that can be classified as individuals that are living with a grandmother or aunts or uncles or extended family or living with their neighbors. Those individuals are also considered homeless when they look at a census data collection. Anybody that doesn't have a permanent address that you would fill out to have your electric bill sent to, or water bill sent to, or taxes, any of those, you don't have to be out on the street, in other words, or living in a homeless shelter to be considered homeless. Somebody meant, my point, Roanoke City, sorry about that. In Roanoke City, the number between last year in 2014 and this year 2015 of students within that school system that are homeless went up 200 students. They went from 400 students being classified as being homeless to 600, over 600 actually, students being classified as homeless. So this is a problem that's very much on the rise, and it is something that I think as a society that we are going to have to become more collectivist about in order to help change this idea, number one, about being homeless, this negative connotation that people must obviously not be working hard enough, or else they would have a home. And as a society, how we're going to support these individuals to help them become productive so that they can have homes. I know somebody mentioned that there are individuals that will pretend to be homeless. They play homeless. And I think we've all come across those individuals. And I guess my question to that, if you look at the numbers of those that are pretending to be homeless versus the number of real homeless, which number's the largest? And I think if you do a search for the statistics, you're going to find that there's a whole lot more truly homeless people than individuals that are playing to be homeless. And so you have to think, well, you know, do I not offer some form of assistance to an individual because I think they could be faking? Do I take that chance? Okay. Or do I go ahead and in good faith offer, and it doesn't always have to be money, offer some support of or some form of support or assistance to an individual who is homeless or is claiming to be homeless. So it's just something to think about. So I'm going to go back to the comment that somebody made, in that these articles and the way this is proposed is meant to help you reset some of your thinking, and also hopefully to give you some of those lucid moments so that you rethink. It's not just a fleeting thing that goes out and is never thought of again. I really want you to think about these ideas. Not everything's going to stick, but I'm hoping from this conversation that you're thinking more about individuals that are homeless. You're thinking more about how you become a member of a more collectivist culture versus an individualistic culture. Okay? Nice job, ladies.